So today I want to take a look at different unique and interesting vendors in classic TBC, as well as show their locations just in case you want to make some easy gold. These will be vendors with unique patterns and limited supply, and you can use these vendors to your advantage by quite literally printing gold, as you can buy lucrative recipes such as the heavy knot-hide leather recipe, which is wanted by leather workers, as well as many other profession recipes with a limited supply on a timer restock. Some vendors also sell you potions, herbs, and even motes, which is also on a limited supply and on a timer restock as well. And to make it a little bit easier for you guys to try to navigate through the different vendors, I will try to go through them zone by zone. I would also highly recommend you stick around until the end of the video, as I will show you what could possibly be the most insane trick of all when it comes to actually being able to buy these items and make as much gold as possible. So let's get into it. First of all, we have some vendors in Shrapnel City. You have Skria in the lower city, which sells the recipe for Transmute Primal Might, which is located right here, and pretty much every single alchemist will want this. You have Vig's Shine Spark in the lower city, which will sell you some engineering schematics and engineering items as well at limited supply. You have Wind Trader Lothrai in lower city, which sells the schematic for White Smoke Flare, which is great for skilling up engineering, plus he also sells some other engineering schematics that are also limited supply, and he is located right here. You have Crow Threadstrong in the lower city, which sells the heavy knot-hide leather recipe, which will be on high demand for leather workers, and you can only obtain this recipe from this vendor right here, or from vendors in Silvermoon City and the Exodar, meaning the supply is pretty limited and it has a 5 to 10 minute restock timer as well. Aaron Holman sells the plans for the adamantite rod for blacksmiths, which is once again a limited supply recipe. He also sells many other plans for blacksmiths, so if you have blacksmithing, you might want to check out what this guy is offering you, and he is located right here. Madame Ruby sells you various formulas for enchanting, all of which are limited supply. Some of these formulas include the large prismatic shards, the superior wizard oil, and superior mana oil as well, and some other enchants. If you have enchanting, this is a vendor you will be interested in checking out, and she's located right here. Then you also have at least one vendor in Tarokar Forest, and that is Dealer Tariq, which is located near the Shadow Labyrinth entrance, and he will sell you a lot of different primals for a very cheap amount of silver coins. He sells you every single mote, and if you can camp this guy and buy these motes, you can pretty much grab a primal for under 2 gold and resell them for probably 20 times more. You better believe he will be camped those, but parking a character at this location and logging in every now and then to check him might be a good idea. Then we have Netherstorm vendors. First of all, you have Kif at Area 52 in Netherstorm, which will sell you a lot of engineering items relevant to Outland engineering. This includes the Corium Power Core, the Adamantite Frame, Fell Iron Casting, and Fell Steel Stabilizers, as well as many other items as well. Some of these engineering items will very likely sell for a lot more gold on the auction house than the vendor price from this guy, which gives you the possibility of printing gold. You also have Dealer Najib at the Storm Spire in Netherstorm, who will sell you a lot of different motes, just like Dealer Tariq from outside Shadow Labyrinth. Additionally, he will sell you some engineering items as well, once again with a limited supply. You also have Dealer Sadakat in the Storm Spire in Netherstorm, who will sell you a lot of different herbs and potions, so if you're looking for some of these items for a cheap price, this is your guy. He is also located very close to Dealer Najib that we just talked about, so you can easily check both vendors at the same time. You also have Dealer Sensik in the Storm Spire, who will sell you some low quality gems that might end up being useful early in TBC, before people start skilling up jewel crafting and pumping gems into the market. Long story short here is if you can get yourself to Netherstorm very early, grab some of these gems and offer them to levelers, you might make a small amount of profit. And then let's talk about Nogrand vendors. For the Horde, you have an NPC called Mathar Gochar that walks around Galadar. This guy sells you the pattern for Soulcloth gloves, the Bolt of Soulcloth, and the Imbued Netherweave bag pattern. You will need some reputation before talking or interacting with him, so keep that in mind. Alliance has a similar vendor like this called Borto, which you can find at Tellar, and this guy sells you the pattern for Soulcloth gloves and the bolt of Soulcloth. In Hellfire Peninsula you have one vendor for Horde only, and that is Mixie Farshot at the Spinebreaker post. She sells you a couple of interesting engineering schematics, such as the Adamantite Scope as well as the Cogspinner Goggles, which comes with a random enchantment when crafted. Another Horde-specific vendor in Hellfire Peninsula is Rohok, which is the master blacksmithing trainer in Thrallmar, and this guy will sell you the plans for the Eternium Rod, as well as the plans for the Lesser Ward of Shielding. There is also an Alliance-specific vendor in Hellfire, and that is Vodacene at the Temple of Telsamar, and this guy serves one purpose, and that is to sell you the formula for Runed Adamantite Rod, which is needed by pretty much every single enchanter. Next up we have Bladesuch Mountains, another Horde-only vendor, and that is Daga Ramba in the Thunderlord Stronghold. This witch doctor sells you some alchemy recipes, including Elixir of Camouflage, Superior Mana Potion, and the Elixir of Major Defense. He also sells you a couple of major mana potions and healing potions as well. Then we go over to Sangarmage, and there we have one vendor for Alliance only, and that is Lul Runa in Telredor. This vendor will sell you some blacksmithing plans, namely the Adamantite Breastplate, Adamantite Gloves, and Adamantite Bracers. Another Alliance only vendor in Telredor is Hallerune, which will sell you some alchemy recipes such as the Elixir of Major Defense, Elixir of Major Frost Power, and the Super Mana Potion recipe. If you have Aldor reputation and you're playing Alliance, you can also obtain the Imbued Netherweave boot patterns as well as the Imbued Netherweave pants pattern from Muheru the Viewer as well, which is located right here. For the Horde you have Seer Janidi at Sebrajin in Sangarmage that will sell you a couple of alchemy recipes, and another Horde-only vendor at the same location is the Captured Gnome, which will sell you some engineering schematics, such as the White Smoke Flare, and a schematic for engineering goggles that lets you see gas clouds on the minimap, which is very handy while farming. And for the last zone we have Shadowmoon Valley. Over here you have Arond in the Sanctum of the Stars, which will sell you the pattern for the Imbued Netherweave Tunic and the Imbued Netherweave Robe, both really good cloth items craftable by tailors, and if you have tailoring you will definitely want to grab these recipes. Now this next one is for Alliance only, and it's Mari Stonehand at the Wildhammer Stronghold. She will sell you the plans for the Eternium Rod as well as the plans for Lesser Ward of Shielding, which is actually required for min-maxing, and as a blacksmith you will definitely want to go and check out this vendor. Okay, now let's talk about something insane. So every single month for a certain time we get access to the Darkmoon Faire, and every time the Darkmoon Faire is up there's a set of vendors available, especially in TBC. These vendors will offer you exotic goods such as pretty much everything you can think of. You can buy motes, herbs, rare gems, you can buy scrolls, black lotus, fell lotus, potions, you can buy knothide leather, heavy knothide leather, thick cleft tooth leather, and a lot more. It's basically an exotic vendor for a lot of different materials that are very useful and can be resold for a lot more gold than the vendor price here, but they are also limited supply, so you have to camp these vendors and you have to click fast. So given that these are limited supply and the competition will probably be huge, you need a way of securing yourself these materials super fast. This is where weak auras come in, as you can configure weak auras to snipe these items. But there's also an even easier way to do this, which is the Mr. OCX Moneymaker add-on, and OCX made a video a couple of weeks ago showcasing a really simple add-on that will snipe vendor items for you, and it is really simple. All you have to do is edit the Lua file and put in the names of the items you want to buy into the Lua file. In the example I'm showing you here, I wanted to buy a Living Ruby as well as Motes of Shadow. I put this into the Lua file, and when I click the vendor, it will automatically buy these items without buying anything else, and it will buy it within milliseconds. I will leave a link to OCX's video on the add-on itself in the description of this video, just in case you want to use it as well. because this is absolutely insane for buying vendor items. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it for today's video. There are probably a lot more interesting vendors out there, but these are the ones I wanted to highlight, as I think they are the most interesting, and probably the most profitable ones. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, and if you did, remember to hit that like button for the YouTube algorithm. I also have a Discord server which is linked in the description, if you want to join an amazing TBC Classic community. And remember to click that subscribe button as well, because I will be uploading a lot more TBC content, and you don't want to miss it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again very soon.